basically, let's see, what are your exceptional, long, risky?
Yep. So my keywords for the MSQ are exceptional, because it is exceptional in most ways. It is long. It is both long literally and long experientially, where, I think it was around 40 something hours of my time. If you'd told me it was 80, I would have looked at the clock and went, that was a fast 80 hours. Oh, well, but it clearly would have happened. It's very long experientially. It was also risky, mostly in terms of structure and theme. There's things they do with the structure that I see people are very, very unhappy with in terms of how pacing went. They really laid out stuff. They wanted to make sure everything they did landed with you, and they took a fucking ton of time to do that. Like even the intro, like, well, not the intro, but after that, the first section is so long and so laborious. They really wanted to sell that. Well, I think they wanted to sell that fighting everything you see is not the answer. So there's so little combat for so much of the game. You kind of used that after like late Shadowbringer stuff, but it's so long. It's so long, and there's just so slow at times, but in a way that I think perfectly works for it.
Yes, there's one of the... I'm not going to do any spoilers whatsoever here. Don't worry. There is one of the slow bits that you talked about that I also did find to be quite slow. Yeah. There was another slow bit that you talked about that you thought was appropriate and enjoyed, and I also thought it was appropriate and enjoyed it. So, it'll be different stuff for different people. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's just like, the more time I get to spend with the characters, I'm happy, and yeah.
No, I mean, the some of the risks they took, I'm really happy that they did, but also it was fucking lucky that they're so good. Which sounds weird because I'm calling them lucky and good at the same time.
I know what you mean, though. It's like...
Yeah, they could have went very wrong, but...
This is a big shot if you can land it, and you need to be really good to land it, and thankfully they are.
Yeah, no, this was a... I guess they needed to thread the needle, but it was actually threading all the needles that they'd placed so far up in a row from A Realm Reborn to the very end, and they needed to line all those needles to thread it properly, and they managed to do it, but... one veering off would have completely fucking wrecked it, and it didn't happen. The other word I wanted to call it is heavy. It's fucking heavy in so many ways, because it's the end of the culmination of 8 years, or I guess a decade overall, because it does bring in elements of 1.0. It's just heavy. Like, I can't stop thinking about it. Every time I'm not sitting down focused on something, like my walk to and from this office is just me thinking about different bits of dialogue, different characters, different themes, different things that we're doing. It is fucking... It weighs a ton. In a way, it's also like, you feel so much lighter and richer afterwards, but it weighs a ton. It weighs a ton. And then the one thing I want to say is the mystery novel element that I kind of twigged on after reading Yoshida Uncensored and seeing how he likes mystery novels. Thinking about mystery novel structure and how they want to set up little things for you to follow along and see if you got the right answer. They do it in a not a very, I guess, obvious way. And they've been doing it in expansions previously. I just didn't notice it because I wasn't thinking about the mystery novel aspect. Yeah. So I was going through this, and I don't have my fucking notebook. My notebook's downstairs. But I have a small little notebook that I was writing in as I was playing. And I must have had like 30, 50 maybe pages of just scribbled notes frantically as I was seeing things. As I was like,
handwriting.
Yeah, I can't read any of it, but it was just like, I can go through it and I can see massive bits from like, I think this is happening, character name, verb, etc., stuff like that. I'm like, okay, this is all interesting stuff. Just all these little details going back through it. I'm like, you set everything up perfectly. I always felt like I was following along in a way that feels fucking fantastic. You didn't surprise me overtly because you never tried to. You introduced elements and then slowly went, here you go, here's the event. You're like, fuck, let's go.
You don't want to go around doing Shyamalan twists.
Yeah.
Right, because it's like fucking Sixth Sense is great, but it didn't really work for him too well afterwards, did it? Right? That's just that thing, you can't have those be big. I mean, big surprises are fine, but if it's a big surprise, it's at the expense of like it being an enjoyable journey up to that point. I mean, and issues. Sylvanas plotline. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. But also, like, the one thing I will say is, if if you don't mind being a little bit more clued in, you should probably look up what a lot of words mean. So they're very heavy in their use of Greek at times. And if you look up what certain Greek words mean when you see them, when you come across them, you'll be like, oh, you bastards. You cheeky fucking bastards. And I definitely will have a... are we going to do a spoiler cast? Probably a spoiler cast. Absolutely.
I think so.
Yeah, we have to. It's
first,
way too...
yes.
He has to finish. And we'll clearly label it as a spoiler cast, but... I also want to do something where I do want to go through. This will maybe be a video in the new year because it'll take a little while to go back through the story and pick up every little thing. But I want to do a video which is all the little bits that I found when I was going through that I have scribbled down in my notes. All the little, all the like Greek words that I found that meant something, specifically place names, which they also have a history of doing as well, which is why I thought about this time with a couple of the Shadowbringers dungeons. But it's just it's so good. There's so many little things. How they introduce elements and use a single word, and you think about what that word means and go, this isn't what I expected. And there's, I can't say anything vaguely related, but it's so fucking cool and had me thinking for hours on end. It is fantastic. And I guess that's something of a spoiler. Well, they did the Greek justice. It's mostly, it's very rarely spoken, if ever. It's mostly just old, I guess, concepts from Greek philosophy and storytelling and stuff like that they use, which is fucking fantastic. But yeah, I can't say. Oh yeah. It's not all Greek. It's a lot of other things as well. A lot of other little bits and bobs. They say if you read into why they use specific numbers or specific names, you're like, you bastards! Fuck you! You give me a massive hint there, or not even just a hint, but by using this one thing, you've communicated to me your entire intent behind this. So what's otherwise generally a throwaway bit of dialogue, you've communicated that you understand what you're talking about in such depth that you're like, oh, to write this character's dialogue, you went and read like 8 books to write this character's dialogue, even though they only have a couple lines. You mad people, absolute mad people. But it is absolutely fantastic. I think. So another thing I wanted to say about it, I guess, is there's a lot of it is subjective.
Yeah,
there is an objectivity to quality, of course, that you can kind of argue about. But there's a subjectivity that, for me, as someone who's enjoyed a lot of JRPGs and enjoyed a lot of anime, it hits so perfect. Like, everything is just so perfect, which is weird because historically it's been very Western styled in a lot of ways.
Yes,
in terms of how it's been written. There's a little tinge of Japaneseness that's introduced. That's just like, fuck yeah, this is great. This is exactly everything I like. It's everything I like and everything I want. Fantastic.
The more that I delay the spoiler cast by not having it finished, the closer you'll get to literally exploding.
yeah. Look, I want to talk about this stuff so bad.
Oh, man.
It is fucking fantastic. Then, I guess what else? Yeah, the subjectivity, it is perfectly targeted for people like me.
Yes.
People might disagree with some stuff, which is why I also consider it risky. Then there's other elements, music. I don't even want to talk with music because I can't do it justice talking about it outside of I have been just walking around poorly attempting to sing a couple songs for fucking ages and whistling the shit out of them, everything. Like, it is Soken. It cannot be stopped. He cannot be stopped. He's an absolute fucking hero.
As for where I am exactly, I cannot answer that. I will say I have done the first trial and I have done 3.
Yes. Yep.
I can't even say that. No, it's just important not to spoil people.
Yep, absolutely.
So in terms of other things, then, you're enjoying Sage.
Oh man, Sage is. I can't say massively because I've only got it to level 84 as of today, but it really owns. Like, playing Eucrasia is a very fun mechanic. Eucrasia basically is a button with I think it's a half GCD or a 1 second GCD that improves your single target damage, your single target heal diagnosis, or your AoE heal prognosis, adding mana cost, adding extra mana cost and a shield to your heals, to those 2 heals, or turning your single target attack into a dot. So you basically will go, well, I have Eucrasia bound to C, and then my abilities are 1, Q, and R that are affected. So I'm going into a fight and I'm going,
That's like the rhythm.
yeah, of like getting this quick to like C1 tab, C1 tab.
I guess
C1
both
tab.
play
It's fucking
both
class.
playing ninjas. There's like a nice rhythm.
Yeah, there's a sort of rhythm to it that is fucking fantastic. Like, and also dealing with some AoE damage that they come in. Some I guess slightly new things that they've done mechanically feels fucking incredible. Like Redacted has a multi-stack hit marker.
Ah, yes.
A multi-hit stack marker that hits a couple times, and a couple times I've been in there, I've seen healers not handle it and not know. They think, oh, it's one big burst, but it's multiple, and then people die. But as a sage, you're like, I know it's coming. I have all the buttons to make it look like no one's taken any damage this whole thing by myself, and it feels
Trial
fucking
one?
fantastic. Yeah,
Oh, that.
yeah, it
yes.
feels fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
It's
Trial
so
one
good.
Trial 1
Yeah.
is so good.
Yeah,
Trial
it is.
1 is so good.
It
And
is-
actually, Dungeons 1, 2, and 3 are also so good.
Everything's good.
The
Everything's
end
good.
of Dungeon 1, was it Dungeon 1? I think no, it was Dungeon 2. The end of Dungeon 2 feels
Yeah.
like a trial at the end of a patch.
It's fantastic. It's fucking
Yeah,
wonderful.
some business like.
Yeah, there's what else? Yeah, the only problem with Sage at the minute I have is keeping a tank alive during big pulse is really, really rough. But
Just the
I'm
single
also
target dump
yeah,
potential.
I'm also coming from playing White Mage as a healer. So where I have Benediction, I have Divine Benison, I have Cure 2 being, pretty strong, pretty reliable, but now I have to basically spam Eucrasian Diagnosis, which drains my mana immediately, or burn through my Adder's Gall, which I burn through really quickly to try and do anything. It's possible, but it's definitely like, oh shit, this is harder than I'm used to. But it's really fun. And then, I guess, Ninja, White Mage, Bard, Red Mage. All really improved. Ninja, I'll have to get used to. I might need to change my binds because Fleeting Raju and Fork Raju are interesting, but it feels so fucking good.
Frankly, my binds and overall setup with a ninja is just not good enough for me to comment.
Yeah.
All I can say is I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the faster pace
Yeah.
of the Nenki Gauge generation. But have to remember, I finished Shadowbringers hours before servers went down.
Yeah.
And that does mean that like the new Shadowbringers hour abilities are literally not on my bars. So
Yeah.
once I hit max level, I'm taking a breather and I am pulling everything off every button I have and I am working out everything properly.
Yep, you should. You should. But man,
So-
fucking
Yeah, it's been a fucking great time.
Yeah.
For other things, I suppose there has been our 2002, which is fixed for me. I've found actually a bunch of server tech people doing digging. Found that 2002 happened every 15 minutes in the dot, apparently.
interesting.
That was the one that came from the server, not the one that
Yeah.
came from your connection.
Yeah.
So, me just being in the queue, but having to nurse my computer to keep in the queue, that stopped.
Yeah.
For me. So the queue's
Yeah.
actually reliable.
Do you know why?
No.
So this is something I'll have to dig through some of my old tweets to find this one because I think I retweeted it, right? So, and this goes to show just how, I mean, obviously this kind of comes as like, oh, that's an obvious thing to do, but it shows how much insane work they actually put in to fix this problem. Let's see. They took their own testing lobby servers from the development and shifted them over to live. They went, I can almost imagine, obviously it wouldn't be in English, but I can almost imagine Yoshi P leaning over a desk just with his head in his hands like he does. Maybe he takes his glasses off and just goes, players cannot play our game. Development must cease. Fuck this. All
No
of you
test servers.
take all of our servers and deploy them. I don't care how much work it is. I don't care what it costs in our schedule. Players need to play the fucking game now because they are having a bad experience. And they went and did. They actually just went, well, yeah, here's all our fucking development servers. We'll move them to live. All the reconfiguring, all the setting up. And I think that's largely what's killed the 2002 problem.
Interesting.
Because they have the extra lobby stuff to handle that load, which is, that's a lot of work. Like,
Yeah, well,
That's a lot of work.
it's so much better now that is fixed. We've also got 7 days of free game time as compensation for everything, and they may do further game time, in case the situation doesn't get better. So we'll see how that goes, but they're doing that well. I enjoy some things like,
that's great.
yep, fantastic. Get some merch. Of course, in our own Discord, we do have a channel for posting this.
Yeah, we do indeed.
There.
That was me.
He's not moving, boys. Looking bad. Very sad.
Yeah, and I will say that was many days ago, and to this point, that opening Tales of Loss and Fire and Faith is still in my head.
Yeah.
Will be forever.
So, events then. Starlight Celebration, December
Yep.
16th.
Mm-hmm.
So, there you go.
Time for Eorzean Christmas.
Any, like, what goes on in that, or is it more of just a sort of visual cosmetic?
Just request.
Oh,
If
nice.
you go through to the site, it'll give you a bit of context, just a little tiny bit of context.
Stone
like
of Load.
Yeah, the little Yeti that could.
Oh,
So I imagine it's going to be. I haven't done one of the Christmas ones before. I imagine it's going to be this really fun little setup for Christmas. You didn't do the Blizzard one. The summer one where you get the polar
bear?
bear.
Nah.
Yeah, because that was a cool little quest as well.
that was a bit silly of me.
Yeah.
So what do we get? We get a wall. Wall decoration for your home, as well as some Christmassy minions.
Yep.
There we go.
But more or less, you get to show up and it's all Christmassy.
Very nice.
It's very good. Yeah.
Then, of course,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we all have to adjust our junk food brands to whatever gives us double XP
Yeah.
or an emote.
It was
Hope you're all drinking. Was it for Halo? It's Monster, or is it Rockstar?
Rockstar for Halo.
Rockstar for Halo.
I actually have a no. It's Rockstar for Halo, and it's was it? Is it Apex on Monster Cans? I think.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I remember
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's time for Warriors of Light to get pizza. Use promo code Endwalker at checkout. Get a pizza emote. Only in the US. Ree!
Yeah, which does mean that it's likely going to be available in EU later, but hopefully not too much later. So the Fat Black Chocobo was a long time later, and I don't think the Choco Pucker is available yet.
Who would it be? Because it's way harder to do that in the EU.
Yeah,
we
well,
don't really have.
yeah.
It's like Deliveroo's in every country.
Yeah, so one of the things there is the Fat Black Chocobo went from being a Amazon promotion of spend this money, get this shit for free. Apparently, in just across Europe, that's harder to do logistically because you can't just give away shit with purchases without a lot of putting it to the right places and stuff like that. So they did it with the Twitch event was the Fat Black Chocobo.
Yes.
The Choco Pucker was for Butterfingers in the US, and that had a whole big meme of its own of FF players enjoying Butterfingers. But they haven't done that in the EU yet either. And the Fat Black Chocobo was available in... Was it the Fat Black Chocobo was KFC in China? Right. Or Japan or something? Yeah, because I remember all the bits of... I remember all the articles about people eating too much. Yep. I will say it is not going to replace slashed bread.
No.
Slashed bread's way too good.
There you go.
It's funny as fuck. Every time I see Connor, he just slash breads, and I'm just on the SDS fender. I just eat bread. The first time he's like, "Holy shit, the bread remote works on the bike. That's so cool." I'm like,
Nice.
yeah, just taking a break, eat some bread. Like,
Oh dear. So there you go. That's the comings and goings. There's not a lot of news in FF because basically we're playing the game and having fun. That's the news.
yeah, we can't talk about it.
Yeah,
can't
and
talk about it. It's so
can't ruin it for people.
fucking good. Like, it is obscenely good, and
Yes,
I cannot
videos.
wait to try the. I cannot fucking wait to try the Extreme Trials. But I need to get Sage the 91st because I'm going to heal this expansion or main heal this expansion, which is I shouldn't have spent all my aphorisms on accessories for Ninja. Whoops. But I did do it because I wanted to get the Burning Fields dummy done so I could prove I'm not actually in bad DPS.
Ah, shit.
Yep.
I'll have to do that.
Yep. Gonna have to learn your stone, sky, and sea. So you learn your rotation. Maybe you'll bind some of your buttons. Maybe. Yeah, I need to
Try
yeah.
everyone.
And then don't know if we'll likely won't be able to do it in time because it'd be difficult, and we are closing on the 23rd. Without spoilers, is better than Shadowbringers. Personally, I think so. I was gonna say by a decent margin. Yeah, to me, it's not really a big thought. It is. It is. They've learned a lot of lessons from Shadowbringers. Done the good things better. But anyway, what was I saying about? Yes, I need to get the 90 for Sage to do Pandemonium next week. Hopefully, might be able to get some vague review of that out next week. Sorry, no.
Week after next.
A week and a half.
Okay.
No, the Tuesday, the 21st, because we're closing the 23rd. So hopefully we get something. Maybe get something the 22nd if I can force it through. Maybe, but yep. And I can't wait. Based on the quality of fights so far, based on how the trials are, based on how the dungeons are, I expect the raid to be fucking incredible. I really, really do.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so
Good shit. Good shit. Ah,
it's so mad.
you
It
know what
is.
my weekend's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, for context, I will have to sit down for probably a couple hours in a quiet, dark room to meditate on whether or not I think Endwalker is better than Nier Automata overall.
Whoa.
And that is a heavy
Okay,
statement
big.
for me. It is
Damn.
fucking unbelievable. Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. Also, the writers, the writing team need a raise. They need blank checks. They need statues. Like, between Ishikawa, Oda, and Yoshi P, they need to go down in fucking history. Like, absolutely, 100%. No two ways about it.
Oh, even for the Shadowbringers stuff, like.
Yep. I can't wait to see because I believe people largely agree Endwalker's fantastic. I cannot wait to see the next fan fest or the next panel that Ishikawa and Oda are at, because I remember so fucking vividly, I remember that PAX East panel where she's introduced as, this is Natsuko Ishikawa. She wrote 5.0, and everyone clapped so hard and stood up and clapped that she's just fucking crying her eyes out. Like, yeah. You think that was 5.0, not even 5.3. You think that was good? You know, people will be throwing their fucking wallets onto the stage. They'll be throwing their clothes onto the stage. They'll be throwing their car keys onto the stage. They'll be like, no, just fucking take it. Take it. You deserve it, absolutely. Can you say how much you've cried? A lot.
Aww.
A lot. Fairly regularly. There's even a point in time, I'm shitting you fucking not, I had to bite back tears when I was walking home the other day because Nikki was in and we're talking about a specific bit. And I was literally just thinking about a couple lines of dialogue, and I was just like, man, I'm actually like, it's not like it's really sad or anything. It's just so it's what I mean by heavy. It's just so emotionally overwhelming. You're like, fucking hell, Jesus Christ, brutal stuff, man.
So whelmed he starts to secrete salty water.
Yeah,
Wild.
hits like a truck full of bricks. Like, it's good. It is fucking good.
Oh, it sure is. Man, yeah, I know what I'm doing this weekend. That's the deal. To finish us off, to recap content of this week, we do have our Big Sylvanas cinematic breakdown video. We also have got a video that went up like 15 minutes before this one, so you almost certainly missed the notification, which is this one. This changed how I think about Warcraft. It did. Big lore came out. There's quite a lot going on. Quite a lot going on in that old Warcraft universe indeed. So we dive into that and try to work out what the hell it actually means. For our other channel, my Endwalker video, it is spoiler safe, which means that it's extremely clear where the spoilers are and you're given ample warning. So don't worry, you can watch it, go check it out. There'll be no spoilers. I would say if you're the most no spoilers, then look at the timestamps at the bottom and listen instead of watch. That obviously avoids the visual spoilers that are impossible to not put into a video. So yeah, there you go. Endwalker, I'm happy, very happy indeed. Then for news, of course, we've got ActiBliz. We have, of course, got ActiBliz. We've got, Take Two trying to take out the game. Well, not take out, but trying to, stamp all over the rights of the game It Takes Two.
Which won Game of the Year. So
Game of the Year. So, yeah, get screwed. The Sad of GOG.
Yeah, that's real sad.
Because we really like GOG, and they are actually coming upon some rough times.
DRM free. Who gives a fuck? Apparently, a lot of people care, but not enough to keep them afloat. But that said,
that's sad.
Based on what I've seen overall, it is mostly their fault for not running the organization as clean as they could, or as focused on they could. It's kind of what we talk about.
It's sad. We like what they stand for there, so we would like to see things go well for them. And we do try to think about that. Think about how they can maybe double down on the core of their business in a way that could actually provide some really good value to customers. So it was a fun one to talk about.
Just Swish says, it's funny how everything except FF14 is on fire now.
I'm glad you're here, keeping us sane.
Yeah, so, that's definitely not true, right? Because there's a lot of games, a lot of indie games, a lot of small games, a lot of reasonable games that are coming out and they're just perfectly fine. sometimes there are games that come out that are very good, but because they're very good and we're in a drought of mainstream games, they get elevated. Something like Deathloop, which definitely got a lot more praise than it deserved, but it came at a time where it was a little bit, there wasn't much else to talk about, so people kind of got riled up over it, I believe. But at the same time, FF14 is thriving in a way that no one's ever seen a game, basically. And that's because they're bucking the trend. Under Yoshi P's leadership and the team who've, seemingly adopted his principles fairly well and are working underneath him, they really, unlike the entire stack of most gaming businesses today, they care about the player, the end user, the player, because they wouldn't say end user, they say player. They're players. Yoshi P considers players warriors of light. He calls them that in most of the times he talks about us. He a couple of different times in his career in FF14 going on stage and stuff, he's written a note in his column saying about the Warrior of Light's power actually helped him do what he needed to do then, because he was tired or anxious or afraid because he suffers from stage fright. But he knows people are Warriors of Light. He's like, yeah, they're my people. He treats them as players as opposed to I imagine there's no one above him making a call that cares about the player or doesn't care about the player because he's at the top. He's like, no, I care about the player. And I think that's one of the things we've kind of lost, largely speaking. And I'd be here for the next 45 minutes if I tried to explain why I think why. But
I think we may get to that in our Yoshi P video series.
Absolutely. Yep, definitely. It's weird. It's like, because Square Enix are... they're doing so well in certain cases, and they're doing so poorly in others, that it's like... But I think, largely speaking, their heart's in the right place, especially after Guardians of the Galaxy this year. It looks like they've recovered from that Avengers catastrophe fairly well in terms of, what if we treat Western players like Eastern players? Oh shit, we figured something out. What if we get developers to make good games? Holy fuck. So, I think Square Enix and Capcom alongside them are kind of leading the front towards better video games. And the more FF14 can be a standard bearer, more people can pay attention to it for how they care for the player, and that's what's led them so far. Beautiful. Like, that's the future we all hope for, as opposed to all the fucking Activision Blizzard bullshit or Ubisoft bullshit or EA's past bullshit or Take-Two's bullshit. All that, it's just tiring.
Yeah, face is tired.
Yep.
Actually, my face is literally tired. I get you, Mass Effect NPC. Oh man, right? We're gonna take off.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna take off. Chill out a bit. Gonna wake up tomorrow and end walk. And saunter and run and everything. It's going to be great.
Walk the end.
I'll try not to end everything, actually. That could be a mistake.
Yeah. But, yeah.
So, fucking hell. Right, there we go. Whew.
Yeah.
Just
before, Yoshi P is on the board of directors, but he didn't start there. Yoshi P, for people who aren't familiar with his history, he started working at... Whoa, what was the first game for Square Enix? I can't remember if it was Dragon Quest X, the MMO first, or if it was the Dragon Quest card games he was working on, where he wrote stuff for them and did some game design. But he definitely didn't start. He was nobody when he started FF14. It was literally him going, no one has told me to do this. Yeah, it's Dragon Quest Battlelord, that's what it was. But no one told him to do this. He thought it was an emergency. He brought it up to the staff. He did a lot of the work himself in the initial prompt, and they went, fuck it, you lead the team.
He really pushed for it.
Yeah, they're like, fuck it, you lead the team then. And the one thing he really, really likes... Yeah, he started Hudson on Bomberman. That's interesting. I need to play that. But one of the interesting things is when he first introduced himself to the FF staff, he said it was very, very difficult for him to do that because they didn't know who he was. And he was just the upstart little bastard. He thought he knew the way of things. He was definitely well learned at that point.
Yeah.
But he was definitely, to them, he was still like the new guy. And he said if not for Soken, helping him along because Soken, whenever he gave the speech, Soken was the one who stood up, was like, fucking yeah, let's go, let's do this. And that's what led it all. So what a fucking time. Like, what a time.
That's going to be fun getting into those videos on just on the people behind it.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. Okay, time for you and me to take off. And I'm going to go to Tesco and get a delicious meal of something to do with eggs and soup.
Yep.
And I'm going to go and eat some nuts. And I'm going to think about all the other tasty things that actually my cravings are now really decreasing for. Turns out if you limit yourself to like under 100 carbs a day, a whole bunch of stuff just falls into place. It's kind of wacky.
Yeah.
Kind of wacky.
Indeed.
So yes, that's the plan. Right. Farewell, everyone. If you enjoyed the stream, I think it was a pretty fun one indeed.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. Endwalker. That's what's going to be going on this weekend. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for hanging out. It's been...
I'm a sleepy boy.
It's been damn near 4 hours. We did a long one today.
Yeah.
Thanks,
sort of
Sylvanus.
back to the old days.
Yeah, not quite 7 or 8 hours, but we'll do.
Yeah, fuck me. Let's do a second day of work on top of the first day of work.
Yep.
That will be sustainable, the two men said.
Yeah, no fucking Endwalker. I need hit sage. I need a hit sage. Yeah, I need a level sage. 1080. So, yep, goodbye everyone.
All right. See you later.